Heyo. Uh, Sorry, this episode was a couple of days late, but I had figured that after looking at my video analytics recently, that you probably are not watching. So I didn't really think that being a couple days late would mean too much. But I finally got some time to record this because I've been pretty busy recently. But we'll get to that soon. So, first off, I started this webtoon and I was reading it and I'm like, hey, this is kind of good. I wonder how long it is after 87 chapters. And it turned out to be 400 chapters long. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can read this webtoon for 400 chapters. I forgot what chapter I'm on right now, but yeah, that's that's that. Oh, and then I got a haircut, and I usually would have gotten a fade down the sides, but this time I wanted to be like I wanted to experiment a bit, right? So I told him, don't fade it, just chop it off. And he was like, wait, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it looks good while it's down, but whenever I put it up, it looks really bad. And I'm like, fuck. Uh and the intention was for me to have it up most of the time because I wanted to get a job. But now I don't know if I want to get a job with this shitty hair. I'm still probably gonna have to do it. I really want a job so I can start saving up. Um, and then the main thing, right after those first couple of days, about 4 days ago, I think, I started playing Terraria with my friend. Um, and we were playing modded Terraria because him and I have beaten vanilla Terraria a couple times already. And so day one of Terraria, we do a whole bunch of things, and Terraria is split up into uh different sections because you're supposed to beat a whole bunch of bosses and right it's 20 bosses total, but with this mod it's called Calamity. There was a whole bunch of other bosses, so it added a whole bunch more bosses. There's a bunch more. And so usually Terraria is split up into different sections. Like before this boss, you need to have this set of gear, this equipment, and these potions or whatever, so you can be prepared for the next boss, right? And then you're set off to go into the world and go gather all those things to go fight the next boss. And so the bosses are split up into sections. So the first couple of bosses are called pre-hard mode. And then whenever you defeat this one boss, right, it switches to the next section and then large changes start happening in the world, which is called hard mode. And then since we added the Calamity mod, Um, we were playing a difficulty called Revengeance, and the difficulty we set beforehand, like on Vanilla Terraria, when we created the world, was called Master Mode. So we were playing on like some really hard difficulty, and so during pre-hard mode, the first like 7 or 8 bosses or however many it was, we were doing like pretty good or whatever. We did it all within the first day, so that was pretty good. Then the next day, um, dude, day two was horrendous. Like the first 5 hours go by, we're doing stuff, we're beating hecka bosses. I think we beat like 7 bosses within those 5 hours, and then the game crashes, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. It just crashed just like any other game, and then we load it back up, and we try to continue playing, and it crashes again within like 3 minutes, and I'm like, oh no. um, we keep going, and we do the same process for like, I want to say like 8 times before it just becomes enough, right? And we were like verifying our files, and like trying to look for solutions on the internet, and like resetting our characters at one point. So like so like our the characters in Terraria, you build them or you make them, right? You do your customization or whatever, and then you can bring them into the worlds. Is technically how it's like done. So the characters are separate from the world. Um, so we had switched all the inventories over from the characters we were playing on, right, to these new characters. So the new characters would be our characters, our characters that we would play on the modded world with. And then like there was a whole bunch of random bullshit. So we ended up resetting back to a backup, which was a backup taken a whole day before, right? So 5 hours of work just gone. 7 bosses not completed anymore. And the problem was because of some random block update bullshit with this one biome in Calamity, right? The mod, all the way on the right side of the world, because I explored it a little bit early to see if I could get one of these items I needed for one of the bosses. I couldn't get it, but that just caused the whole game to crash a shit ton, and it like bugged out, and then it corrupted the world. So yeah, that's why we had to back up. Um, yeah, we lost a lot of progress. We backed up, and then we installed this one like cheat mod because there's no way we were spending another 5 hours to get back to where we were. So we just installed a cheat mod. I think it's called like Heroes mod or whatever. And then we just spawned in some OP items. We beat all the bosses real quick. We had to re-explore the entire map that we explored last time, except for like some caves that we missed. Um, because with these new characters, they didn't have the map explored. Um, so yeah. And then after that, it was like 40 minutes later. Well, with the Heroes mod installed, then we turned it off because we got back to where we were, and then we continued all the way up until the final vanilla boss, which is called Moon Lord. And so we spent, I believe, like 4 hours trying to defeat Moonlord, and we couldn't beat it. We couldn't beat it. Um, And so at this point in time, day one of Terraria, we spent 9 hours. Day two of Terraria, we spent 16 hours playing the game. So we beat pretty much all of hard mode second day, all of pre-hard mode first day. And then um let's see what else. Yeah. So we got stuck on the Moon Lord. And and I was like, yo, we have to build this one thing. And it's like this one like item that gives you a shit ton of buffs. Cause we were just buying potions like and manually and doing all that manually. And I'm like, yo, we need to get this item. And like it was super tedious because the crafting recipes, oh my gosh, there were so many things. Um Yeah, there was a lot of things you needed to craft and had to grind for. At one point, I had to go make a farm for um catching garden gnomes because they spawn as gnomes, and then you have to lure them into the sunlight, and then they become garden gnomes. And it was super AIDS. And then after that, right, because that took a little while, you have to go catch ladybugs. And I was doing a ton of research, like, oh, how to get the forest biome. And like, whenever I saw pictures of the forest biome, it didn't look like the forest biome in our world. I'm like, no, um, we're in the wrong like biome because it's supposed to be like a forest biome right next to like our NPC houses. Uh, and then like we did that for like 2 hours before like we were like, screw it, well, let's just go to bed. So day three, I believe this is like Monday. Yeah, right. So the next day, the last thing we need to do is catch all these goddamn ladybugs. We need 104 ladybugs. Yeah, and they just wouldn't spawn yesterday. We have the item that makes the wind go because they only spawned in really heavy winds in the forest. And then like only like an hour in, right after trying to figure this shit out, we figured it out. I don't know what we figured it out with, but I think it was because there was no like trees nearby, so we planted a bunch of saplings. They didn't grow up. I don't know why. I think it was because there was a lot of platforms above. But anyway, the trees didn't grow up. However, as soon as I planted the saplings and the wind was going the right like speed, then ladybugs started to spawn, and we were like so excited, like, oh, 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 ladybugs, ladybug. And, and then we caught 100 and however many ladybugs we needed. Then we crafted the thing, and after we crafted it, we went and fought the Moon Lord, and guess what? We fucking beat it first try. Yeah, yeah. And I was like, bruh. um. So yeah, after we beat the Moon Lord, and that was like within the first 2 hours, hour and a half ish, on the third day, and this was like Monday when this video was supposed to come out. However, we still had a long way to go because post Moonlord is all Calamity like modded bosses. So yeah. Um we just did a bunch of that. And I think today is gonna be our last day. Because yesterday we did all of our is today Wednesday or Tuesday? It's Wednesday. I forgot one day. I miscounted one day somewhere. But anyway, yesterday it was Tuesday, and we. Oh wait, no, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I forgot. I'm missing a day somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere. um. So yeah, we beat a bunch of the post Moon Lord all calamity like modded bosses. There wasn't too much of an issue. It's just the same stuff, grinding for stuff and just making your build to fight the next boss. There was some bosses that gave us a little problem, but nothing too serious. And then at the end of the day, we got to this one boss. It's like a mech boss. And it's like a bunch of mechs. It's like 3 or 4 different mechs. Um and they like so like one of the mounts we use flies at like super fast speed, right? And the reason why we use mounts is to, or at least the reason why I use mounts is because I play as a summoner class, and you don't get to choose like you don't like choose your class, right? Because like all it is like all the class is just like equipment and artifacts and weapons that you equipped at the time. So you can just switch classes willy-nilly if you have like the resources and stuff and patience. So I use the summoner because I'm lazy and I like to not do anything. And my friend is playing a wizard and melee, but mainly melee because he wants to get better at melee. And I forgot where I was going with this, but yeah. Oh yeah, my friend, he doesn't use the mounts because the mount, like one of like the like the downsides of using the mount because it's super fast is like you're not allowed to use any items while in it. So no weapons, no like teleportation wand. It's called the Rod of Discord. Um, and nothing like that. So you can't do anything while in the mount. So he can't use the mount to damage the bosses. Um, or like to do damage to the bosses. So he has to like use like his feet and like his wings and whatever. Um so yeah. And so like what I did was like I mined out like three 1/3 of the of the entire like world on the left side of the map just because I was bored and I was thinking like, oh my gosh, super hard difficulty on the biggest mod in Terraria. It'd be kind of cool if we ended the mod pack with like the entire world just like stuffed into like this like little thing. We have like a storage mod and we can like stick it in like our inventories, and then like the last thing in the world is just like there's like the statue of like that shows that we beat it. I think that would be pretty cool. Anyway, um and then yeah, that's where yesterday left off. We have not beat the exo mechanical bosses, but it's the second to last boss in the entire mod. And then after that is something called boss rush, and I think that's just like every boss at once or something. I don't know, but I'm sure it'll be cool. Um, and yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, one of my classes started like 2 days ago. Um, I haven't done anything in it, but I did. I did look at it, and it's a lot. It's a lot of work that I really don't want to do. But yeah, that is that's it. I hope you watch these videos someday. I uh I think that might be kind of fun. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah. Be safe. Take care of yourself. And don't forget about me. Love you lots.